Sorry that we were coming in a little bit late today, folks. Hold on one second. I forgot to do something too. So this is a little bit of a delayed. We were having an enthusiastic conversation about Australian horse racing, right, Tom?
Yep.
We're trying to figure out who won what race last week. Not that it matters, but
No,
Tom and
not to these guys, these people. They don't care, but we do because we like to drive ourselves crazy with Australian racing, and especially at the Group 1 level.
Yeah, we couldn't figure out who won because we were talking about a race that we did last week where one of the favorites finished second, and the trifecta paid an astounding, what was it, $1,300 or something like that?
$1,300.
So we're kind of hoping maybe we can find something like that this week. We unfortunately couldn't get a guest. Everybody's apparently at Saratoga having a great time. It's Thursday night. They're drinking, they're eating, they're celebrating. And
trainers' dinners that night.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, if you remember last time we had Maggie on, no, it was when we had Courtney on. Acacia Courtney, yeah, she decided she had to go in a hustle because of that trainers' dinner. So we're never invited, but you're invited always to spend time with us here. And welcome to the Player's Edge.
Terry was invited, but, he decided not to go.
Yep.
Well, it's because he's got the money to get a ticket.
He just paid for everybody's dinner, but he didn't show up.
Yeah, well.
That's for sure. But so we're going to talk a little bit today, like we did a couple of weeks ago, just the four of us, about three of the biggest races this weekend at Saratoga. That is a huge card. I mean, they have a lot of stakes races tomorrow. I think I added up $4.5 million in prize money for the stakes races. They have a couple $100,000 allowance, I think at least $100,000 maiden race. So it's a huge card on Saturday.
Yeah, we're covering the back end of them, but there's 6 straight grade 1s.
And Friday is the New York Showcase Day, so there's some decent races, and those New York breds, if you own a New York bred, you can do very well.
Mm-hmm, for sure. Well, we're going to talk about races, I think, 10, 11, and 12. So the first race on the calendar is let's pull them up here. It's the Ensign Stakes, race number 10, I think. Is that right, guys?
Yeah,
race number 10.
She was quite a horse.
Oh, yeah? I don't remember.
Yeah, when she beat Winning Colors, who was the Derby winner, and just got up by a neck, and she was undefeated in her career. Owned by Ogden Phipps. Yeah, he was very, very impressive horse.
I don't remember seeing that one. Well, we're expecting some bad weather, Mitchell Ross says, on Saturday. So that could change things around a little bit, right? But it seems to me that the track maybe runs a little bit. It still looked like I was watching it in the mud the other day, and the front runners were going around like they do just about every other day. You guys see the same sort of thing or no?
Yes, I did.
Mm-hmm, me too.
With very minor exception, yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so that probably means the turf races are off, so that'll mess up the race number 11. But let's just assume for now
they'll run that on the turf.
Yeah, even
no
if
matter
it's
what,
right?
yeah.
No matter what,
on the turf. It'll be yielding, but they'll definitely run it.
So that'll favor some of those European horses. Tom
there's only one European.
Japan,
yeah.
Yeah, Tom will be all over that horse.
No.
Yeah. No. No, that's a shock.
No,
all right, well, let's talk. Go ahead.
Let's go up to our first mess, being that wonderful princess. The Empress.
Yes, let's talk about the Ensign Stakes.
Yeah, personal ensign.
So let's first look at what the pace. Yeah, Bugs Bunny. This looks what like the early pace might look like. You guys agree that Latruska will have the lead?
Yes.
Yeah, but I do, but I think there'll be another horse that tries to go with her, which is as time goes by.
And Miss Marissa.
Yes.
I think she'll be out there too. And if Swiss Skydiver's in the mood, she could be close.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think she'll be maybe in mid-pack, Swiss Skydiver.
So I know Sean wants to disagree, but he's seen these charts before, and he's stunned when they come out to be somewhat accurate. On the way home, it looks like Royal Flag has the best late legs, and Latruska, he's got some pretty strong late legs too, able to get that speed and maintain that speed. kind of like a 250-yard sprinter there, Tom. Silence. All right, so let's just start with Dunbar Road, the first horse. Anybody think Dunbar Road has a shot here?
No. The horse will need a real hot pace and will be coming from way behind, but I don't think, not even close to this class.
No, I think Dunbar Road has a chance to come in this spot, to be honest with you. The horse last time out ran a pretty good number. I expect the second number to be better than the last one. Has a decent run. All right.
I mean, Flavian Pratt and Chad Brown at a price. I mean, definitely be worth a couple dollars. But
yeah, but if he runs back to his November 7th Keeneland run at 1.125, where he beat by Monoboy Girl, ran third, only beaten 2 1/4 lengths, got a real good speed rating of 105. He could do okay.
And that's 2 for 2 on the off track. So if it's wet, look out for Dunbar Road at 20-1.
Yes.
Anybody think as time goes by? Terry's all over as time goes by. This is one that's made his list. I know it because he brought it up like that at the start.
Yeah, I like it as my third choice. It stumbled under her first race back since after a 2.5 month break. And then she has finished 87% of the time in this year in the money and has won 50% of those races. So
Bob Baffert's kind of struggled a little bit lately.
Mm-hmm.
Silence.
We'll go crickets on that one. Say the wrong thing there.
But there's an earlier race where Gamine is running, so in the Ballerina. So, yeah, I think she's got a good chance in that one.
I think Gamine has a good shot because she's probably the lone speed in that race.
Yeah, it looks
is able to get out to the front, and it's 7 furlongs, 1 turn. Going to make it very difficult for people to catch her. I think she can get a good lead and not give it up. That'll make AJ very happy from the Triple Clowns because that's his favorite horse. She's his girlfriend, I think. All right, let's see. Horse number, I think these aren't deep fields. Bonnie South. This is a horse that is Delaware. I love that Delaware to Saratoga angle. It's my favorite.
This was the one, this horse and Miss Marissa ran the day I went to Delaware. Bonnie South was the heavy favorite, and Miss Marissa ended up winning.
Anybody think Bonnie South is going to factor?
Yep, I do.
Yeah. Why?
I think throughout her last race, I think it was her worst of career. They put blinkers on her. They're going to stay on. We'll see what happens. She's a grade 3 winner. She's beaten some of this horses. I think it's just a matter of what her trip will be like. I like her work, 59-2 on the main track at Saratoga. The only question I have with her is that 1 1/8 distance. I don't know if that's her best distance.
No.
I mean, I'm not 100% sold on that part, but I think she's got a good chance to finish in the money. I don't know about winning.
Although she did run 1 1/8 at Pimlico and only lost by a neck back in October.
Pimlico,
again,
Delaware, what's the difference?
I just don't know if that's her best distance. She's definitely gonna be around.
Mm-hmm.
In my opinion.
She's run some quality races for sure. Swiss Skydiver. Is Swiss Skydiver going to get her act together? There's no Menominee Girl in here, but there is a Latruska in here, so she's been definitely struggled with Latruska. What do you think?
Well, she's my 4th pick. She does have the best dirt speed among today's starters and has a sharp workout August 21st of 1 minute flat. Breezy. 2 out of 40 horses working out that day. Second.
Well, she faced the boys last time, so it's not the boys this time.
Well, and the reason she had to face them was because she'd been in quarantine, like King Fury, which we're going to talk about a little later. So, I mean, Kenny McPeak was kind of stuck where to put her. And, yeah, he threw her against the Lions. There's no question about that. But if you got to get a race in, you got to get a race in. And that may set her up nicely for this one.
I think she's going to be a little overvalued here, and she's also 0 for 4 at the distance. So,
yeah, I think the workout there, right, tells me that maybe she's back into form because she had that big win over Authentic and then kind of struggled a little bit afterwards. So I think that workout tells me maybe. I think the biggest risk for her, though, is that Jose follows Latruska out of the gate, runs a little bit too fast, and does the fade like she did last time out. That's my my fear that you'll see her when they ran against Menominee Girl and the Truska. That's kind of what happened. She went boom. So maybe that'll happen again. Royal Flag. I think Royal Flag is a horse that can perhaps upset Latruska. The horse, it's going to be coming from off the pace, but if they get going a little bit up in the front, it's got the best late pace figures in the field. I think has a chance to run by him late.
Yeah, this was my second pick because of that. Latruska's, it's going to be a hot pace. Latruska probably fights him off, but it creates other horses fading, and Royal Flag will be the one that will benefit. She's never finished outside the trifecta in her career, so I think she'll be coming late. And I don't think she gets the Latruska, but she'll be coming.
I think she does. I think Royal Flag's going to win the race. She's my first pick. Ooh. And, she's never finished out of the money in her career, and she's won 50% of the races. She's won her first race after a 3-month layoff at Saratoga, today's distance. And she has a great trainer jockey combination of Chad Brown and Joel Rosario. Sorry about that.
That happens.
So yeah, no, I think so. And I like the morning line 10-1. I think she's going to be a good price.
I agree. Latruska, is anybody going to beat her? Is she the winner? Latruska's the winner? Yes, no, maybe?
Yeah, I think she's going to run second.
So Royal Flag. Okay, so Tom, you haven't told us who's going to win. So who's going to win? Miss Marissa? That's the only one's left.
No, number 6, Graceful Princess. I like her last race at
number 6
in a grade 3. I tossed her sloppy.
That's number 9. Number 9.
I'm sorry, number 9.
Yes, you're confusing me. And that's not hard, but you are confusing me.
Oh well, yeah, it's a short trip, right? I like her last race. It was a very good effort at Monmouth. If it comes up sloppy, then I'm not playing her. She's had 2 good races this year. She gets John Velasquez, and then I go with my angle of late developing, and her dam is Havre de Grace, who was champion and a horse of the year in 2011, and she was a late developer too. And she's 5, but you never know with these as they get older, these mares seem to get a little better, and that's one of them I think is Todd Pletcher's got going, and I think she's got a really good chance in here.
So we skipped over Miss Marissa and Harvey's Little Goyle. Any one of those two you feel that any of you have any one of those two running anywhere near the money?
I have Harvey's Little Goyle finishing 3rd. Another that should benefit from a hot pace. You get first time Luis Saez gets on, and he's been really hot, winning everything. And this horse has performed good on the turf and the dirt, so he's going back to the dirt here, or she's going back to the dirt here.
Mm-hmm. All right, so real quick, Tom, what's your order?
My order is 9, 3, and 4.
Terry?
5, 6, 2, 4.
5, 6, 2, 4. And then Sean, what's yours?
6, 5, and 8. And if Tom's right, there's going to be bridge jumpers with Latruska here off the board.
I'm going to go 6, 5, 1, and 4. I feel like there's going to be some shots behind Latruska because I think that you're right, Sean. They're going to go out. They're going to set a hot pace. I don't think some of the Swiss Skydiver hasn't shown that she can keep up. Miss Marissa and some of the other horses that have shown some speed haven't done it against this quality. She burns them out, and then the closers come in. You get some prices behind her. That's kind of what I'm hoping for anyway. The next race is one of my favorite names for Sword Dancer. I like that name. It just makes interesting imagery, but I guess it depends on how you look at it.
It was a good horse way back when. Sword Dancer.
And Tom, I know you liked this one before, right? TRIBHUVAN?
I do, but I think it's going to run second. I think it's going to get cost. And I took GUFO on top.
You put GUFO on top? Well, if you look at,
I think he's going to have enough pace to run at in this race and close, and that definitely is going to help him a lot in this race. I mean, the big thing for me is he needs a solid trip, and that's sometimes he gets and sometimes he doesn't. But I think Joe Rosario put him in a position to give him a really good chance. The other thing I like is that, yes, he ran in a kind of listed race last time out, but he's 1-for-1 at the distance.
Yes.
And that may be where where he needs to be. And I just think he's, with the way he closes, even on an off track, he is going to be flying at the end.
Yeah, and closing has been the way to go, because 7 of the last 10 winners of the Sword Dancer Stakes came from off the pace. In fact, they were 5th, or actually mostly 5th or out, but 7th or out. There's not that many in the field to go to like 10 or 11, but definitely closers have had their way. So real quick, let's take a look at what this pace might look like. Moretti could be on the lead. Channel Maker, Japan, there's your Japan, all the way at the bottom, but it's only at the bottom because we don't have any numbers to put in there. So that's a misrepresentation. I expect Japan will be mid-pack, maybe chasing the front runners based upon the commentary. On the way home, it looks like Cross Border might have some of the strongest legs. GUFO, TRIBHUVAN, it should be, I think it could be a very tight finish at the end. And then, of course, you got last year's champion right in here. Channel Maker, right? That horse won last year by 5 1/4 lengths. So made easy work of the field. I don't know that she'll have a chance to make easy work. He'll have a chance to make easy work of the field this year, but
not the same horse.
No, it doesn't look like it on paper to me at all either.
I would say on that pace chart there, TRIBHUVAN #1, I think's got the early. But I have the lead, and I think GUFO's got to be the fastest late pace.
Yeah, and I think the old guys.
If you look at the numbers, it's not. I mean, and in fact, if you look at Moretti's numbers, last time out, the horse didn't have a very good. The first pace numbers are very high for Moretti, so I think that horse has a very good shot to be on the lead.
And going to Tom's point with the pace, I only see the #1 and the #5 going for the lead. Who else do you see going for the lead, Tom?
Yeah, #1's got the rail. There's no way they're not going to send him. That's his style ever since he's really been running that. The United Nations, he proved that's the way to go. I mean, he got caught in the race before that by domestic spending. I think he's going to get caught again, but he's going to. He's run on all conditions. So if it comes up soft, he's fine. If it comes up firm, he's good. Can he hold off my top choice, GUFO? I don't think so, because I think he'll be flying at the end. But he's definitely the pace setter. And Moretti, no, I don't see it. He hasn't run against this kind of company consistently to be on the front end.
Channel Maker will be out there too.
Yeah, he will. No, Channel Maker will be out front with the.
But he's run his races. He Saudi Arabia, he had a second. He was okay. Beyond that, what has he done?
No, I don't like him. I just know he's going to be out there with him. I think the old guys are thinking a lot alike, because I like GUFO as my first pick, and I like the #1 as my second pick. So, and as you were talking about GUFO, he's already ran 1.5 miles on the turf, and he's never finished out of the money, and has won 6 out of 11 races, which is pretty darn good. And TRIBHUVAN has won 3 out of the last 4 races. He'll try to lead all the way, and has done so at 1 3/8 miles. So I don't think the distance is going to be that hard, although I don't think he'll win the race. The trainer, of course, is Chad Brown, whose mounts have won 23% of the races that have been entered this year. And jockey Flavien Prat has won 38% of the races that he's competed in at Saratoga.
What's popping, Sean? Justin Yoder wants to know what's popping.
That's my brother, so.
That's your brother?
Yeah.
Ah. Well, he wants to know what's popping. You don't talk to your brother?
Yeah, I talk to my brother.
Yeah, popcorn.
Yeah.
So, Sean, what do you think, man? He's asking you what you think's going to happen. You're dumbfounded over there.
I think the one TRIBHUVAN's going to go to the lead and go all the way around. I didn't see too much pace. Like I said, maybe Moretti, but I wasn't really concerned about that.
Pace doesn't win this race, Sean. Pace doesn't win at mile. At mile, and it doesn't win on turf at Saratoga, and especially if it's wet, man. It's going to be really tough
like Tom
to get
said,
to the front and stay at the front.
Since this horse has started this form and started going out to the front, it's been really tough to beat. So I think gets us off pace, and he'll able to go all the way around. And then number 7, Cross Border, is another one I like just because horse for the course. 6 of 7 at Saratoga with a second, and we say
that second was a neck too, so it could be 7-0.
Yeah, loves this track. So
horse for the course.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. I like the horse for the course angle too. Channel Maker is my top pick. I have GUFO running second because I think that it will hold the form and the closers will come. Those two, I believe, will be coming the hardest, even though that's not what my well, it did show Channel Maker coming the hardest. I like Rock Emperor too. Nobody mentioned Rock Emperor. Is there anybody else that likes Rock? Tom says no. He's laughing at me. He's giving me the Maggie and Jose Ortiz treatment. Terry, you're not going to let me down.
Well, I haven't. No, but I don't have him in my top 4. So
no.
He was trying to find a spot for him, though. He really wanted to agree with you.
I looked at him really hard, but I just don't think he's at the same class as these horses.
All right, Sean, real quick, your top 4.
172.
172 for Sean. Tom?
1726, I'll go.
1726.
2, 1, and 6.
Terry?
2, 1, 6, and 7.
So I am 7, 6, 2, and 1. So Tom, you said you didn't like Japan, but everybody has Japan in their picks. You think that's because we've been doing these international shows that now we're like all inclined to take the international horse no matter what, sight unseen?
My issues with Japan is, I mean, in the past he's been a very good horse. Lately, he's been at best a Group 3. Well, it depends on how you rate this race. I mean, it's a grade 1, but type of situation. He faced a great field at Royal Ascot, and everyone in that race won after. So Wonderful Tonight, Broom, and Hata all won. But again, he's beating what's at Chester. The only race that in Chester where he won, he beat Trushan, but Trushan is really a 2-mile plus horse, not at the distance that they ran at. So that's my issue with him. I think Ryan Moore will definitely know how to ride the horse. He may be able to pull the upset. I think you're going to get a bit of a price on this horse.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if he's good enough. I think he's past his prime. I think he when he ran against Magical and Mogul and those horses, he was good. Here, I just don't.
That $1.8 million price tag jumps out to me. I'll tell you that.
Oh yeah,
one of the things. One of the
things.
things.
It's good. I mean, let's face it. Aiden O'Brien, this isn't a bad horse.
No,
one of the things whether he's past his prime.
Yeah, one of the things I like about him has been 4 out of 5 races. He's been spending money at this distance, and he's won one of them. And of course,
but keep in mind the type of course. He's not running on a flat course. And, when you got the undulations that are unique, we think are unique, but are normal for the European tracks, and the kind of company he's been running up against, he's faced a Naval, and he didn't beat her. Those are very good horses.
Mm-hmm. I just think if it's wet or it's a little bit soft, that'll help. Yeah.
Definitely. If it's wet, it will definitely help the horse.
All right, so that leaves one race, the headline of the day, the Travers Stakes. So the obvious question is, can anybody beat Essential Quality Quick? Tom?
No.
Terry?
No.
Sean?
No.
No? Everyone's no? I think it's a horse race. Of course he's beatable. Depends on how the pace gets out. Maybe he gets a little bit of trouble. Maybe it's a little bit slow. The favorites really struggled at in the Travers.
But this horse doesn't need the lead and also doesn't close from deep, so should get a perfect trip no matter what.
It's the graveyard of favorites, Sean. And the Travers has not favored. I think there's only been 3 favorites, and one of them was a dead heat in the last 10 years. So there's been 11 champions in the last 10 years. 3 of them were the favorite. Everybody else was, and in fact, half of the favorites ran out of the money.
I think maybe there's 1% chance he'll lose.
It also was tougher fields then. This is a softer spot here.
Yeah,
you think so? There's nobody in this field.
And the other thing I thought was very key here is they put in a good work at 59-2, and he comes back in the mud and they still worked him. Now, the work isn't particularly fast at 101 and 2, but they did give him a chance over the main course on and off condition. So they're looking both ways in my mind. If it comes up crappy, then he should be able to hold his own. If it doesn't, well, we know he can
win no matter what.
Yeah,
he's very versatile. He can do it from behind, or he can do it on top. It doesn't matter.
Well, let's see where he'll be. Okay. According to this, Midnight Bourbon is going to be on the front. And the last time Midnight Bourbon got to the front by itself, well, he's finished first or second. So minus being cut off by Hot Rod Charlie, of course, which we all saw that, unfortunately. Essential Quality and Masqueparade will be right there. And then on the way home, you got Robertino Diodoro's horse, Keep Me in Mind, will be rolling downhill like Harry Chapin's 30,000 pounds of bananas. I think that's who saw that.
But keep in mind, there's only won one race. Yeah, it was a great race as a 2-year-old. But what has he done since? He finishes in the money, but he doesn't win.
He's always hanging around like dog hair.
Yeah, but he's not winning. But he's not winning. Right.
But just the one that's in there that you can kind of put in. Like you should go do like a Terry bet. All Midnight Bourbon, all Midnight Bourbon. He's not going to win, but he's going to be in the money. What do you think, Terry? Any chance you'll do that, or are you just going to throw Essential Quality on the top and call it a day?
No, I'll probably use Essential Quality on top, and then I'll use Keep in Mind for second, also Masquerade and Diamondback One. Diamondback One. Those are my 3 horses that are going. It's going to be. I think it's going to be a race for second, third. So
race for second and third. Well, I mean, everybody's clearly going to be on Essential Quality. Any chance Essential Quality goes off at 4 to 5?
No.
So, what do you think the odds are going to be, Sean?
1 to 9.
Yeah, 1 to 9. You think that low? No, they won't be.
Probably
1 to 5 is what I think.
1 to 5, Tom.
1 to 9.
1 to 9. Wow, I think it's going to.
This horse has only lost 1 race, and it was the Derby where he got a horrible trip and still ran good, and that was 20 horses. There's only 7 horses in here, so he shouldn't get a bad trip at all.
But it's New York.
The only thing I can hold against him in that race is that it was 1.25 miles, which is this. I mean, 1 mile and
mile and a quarter. Yeah, the Kentucky Derby.
1.25 miles, and I mean that's the only thing you can hold against him. That Kentucky Derby. What's the distance?
1.25 miles. Yeah. Did get a bump start, got pushed out wide. A lot of problems for Essential Quality in that one. Yeah. So to me, if there's going to be a horse that upsets anybody in here, well, Keep Me in Mind almost got him at 1 1/8 miles last time. Ran a much better race. They kind of ran even Steven for the last 16th or so. So maybe Essential Quality will have a little bit more for the 1/8 of a mile. Sean, do you think Robertino's horse can make up that half of a length and a quarter in another 1/8 of a mile?
No, it's going to be the horse coming from way too far back. That's going to. I have him for probably 4th, but he'll maybe 3rd. I don't see him getting in the top 2. I actually like the jockey change with Midnight Bourbon with Santana, an aggressive jockey that from the rails going to go right out to the lead.
I honestly think Robertino's not going to have him in the back. I think he's going to have Joel Rosario move him up.
I do
because
too.
If you look at those workouts, man, he's been making them do some bullets. I don't think you bullet a horse because you plan on putting him in the back. I think he knows that he's got to get the horse closer to the front to have a shot to get him.
Yeah, he's looking to get speed out of that horse.
Yeah, I think so. I think he's going to run second. So,
you think he's going to run second in the race or second out of the gates?
No, well, second in the race. I think he's going to run around 3rd during the race. So, 3rd or 4th. Right.
One that intrigues me is Dynamic One with Irad Ortiz in the irons. The horse also will be coming like a truck late. Ran in the Kentucky Derby. I mean, going into the Kentucky Derby, had run fairly well. Didn't have a bad race except for the debut. Every other race was pretty solid. It got maybe hurt and then came back and just popped a big number after some time off. Workouts lately haven't been very good, but maybe a little bit more maintenance than they are really anything else. But if that horse does like it did in its second race after its debut and has that big jump again in that second race off a layoff, that number would be good enough to win.
Yeah, I like that. I like her as my 4th pick. And I like that, the combination of Todd Fletcher and Irad Ortiz in the last 14 days in 7 races that they ran together. They won 3 and ran second twice. So I think it has a shot. I don't think it's going to win beat Essential Quality, but has a real big shot of running second or third. And
Tom, you had mentioned you wanted to say something about King Fury. What were your thoughts?
Well, again, like Swiss Skydiver, same issue. Was in quarantine, couldn't race. So they threw it in the grass race. Yeah, good luck in that one. That bunch, especially the European ones, way over his head. So I tossed that race. Keep in mind, if the track comes up sloppy, he won the Lexington in the slop, coming from off the pace. He was second in the Ohio Derby to Masquerade, and I would focus on the last 2 races before the turf race.
Mm-hmm.
Because the turf was, let's put him in, let's see what he can do type of thing. Well, he did nothing, but he was also getting some very good turf 3-year-olds, and especially the ones that were from Europe.
So in my work where I do the profile of a winner over at Horse Racing Radar, one of the things I noticed that 9 out of the last 10 winners, so we mentioned a little bit about the favorites kind of falling down. 9 of the last 10 winners showed an improved speed figure from race to race coming into this. So maybe ran 100, let's just say 2 races back, and then 101 or more in the next start. So showed an improvement. There's only 2 horses, I think, in this field that actually qualify for that angle. Midnight Bourbon didn't obviously run a better one last time out because he got cut off by Hot Rod Charlie, but did in the 2 races before that. Essential Quality actually went down a little bit. Then you're looking at Keep Me in Mind, flat. The numbers didn't go up, but didn't go down, just kind of flat. My Dynamic One does qualify for that. Even if you toss out the Kentucky Derby, did show race-to-race improvement. Miles D is one that we haven't talked about. It has 3 consecutive increases on the speed figure. Masquerade Parade is actually one that went backwards last time out, as did King Fury. So the only 2 horses that have improved their speed number over the last 2 races coming in are Miles D, which we didn't talk about, and Dynamic One. Any chance Miles D can pull off the upset?
Yeah, I looked at that horse really hard, and I kept thinking that it might be a horse to put in there. The only problem is it's not really ran against anything that's been, that classy. So it might not do very well, I don't think, in this race.
Well, the lightly raced angle doesn't bother me because I don't think we've seen the full range of what this horse is capable of. Maybe we have, but there's a possibility that the horse still has more. Whereas I think with every other horse in the field, you kind of know who that horse is. With maybe the exception of Dynamic One, because that last speed number was so much greater than anything else that it's produced.
Yeah, and Dynamic One has beat Miles D too in the last race. So
it was close, but he did run by him, and the extra 1/8 of a mile should probably help. All right, Sean, to wrap it up, give me your order.
2, 6, 1, 3.
2, 6, 1, and 3. And then Terry?
2, 3, 6, 4.
2, 3, 6, and 4. Tom?
2, 7, 6.
2, 7, 6. Tom doesn't even need a superfecta horse. I'm going 2, 4, 1. I think Midnight Bourbon will do what Midnight Bourbon does. And then I'm putting to Keep Me in Mind 3 horse in there for 4. 2, 4, 1, and 3. So that wraps up our Players Edge podcast for this week to talk a little bit about the horses at the biggest races at Saratoga this weekend. Sean, if folks want to follow along, where can they find us?
Facebook and Twitter, Horse Racing Radar.
All right. And then make sure if you watch on YouTube that you hit that subscribe button down there along with the bell. I'm not quite sure where we'll be next week, but we hope to have a guest next week so that we can bring a different perspective to the show. Tom and I will be back tomorrow at 1 o'clock Eastern to talk about some international races. Tom, which races will we be talking about? And do people need to stay up late for Australia again?
Well, we do have one Australian race, but we also can talk about a 2-year-old race at Goodwood. The Prestige. We're gonna talk about the March Stakes, also at Goodwood. It's a Group 3, and we're going to talk about the Celebration Mile, which is a Group 2 at Goodwood. And then we're going to go over to a listed race at Beverly, which has an interesting field. And our final one will be at Caulfield, which will be is a race that will go off at 1:45 Chicago time a.m. I know that's
way past my bedtime.
Terry will be up, but the rest of us may not be. And that is a very good Group 1 race going 7 furlongs. And as the spring carnival season begins to get in play, we get to take a look at some of the horses that are running in those races. And there's some very good horses in this race.
Sounds like it'll be a lot of fun. And make sure you head on over to Horse Racing Radar tomorrow. There is a contest. You have to get your picks in before the deadline. I think it's 9 a.m., Sean. Is that right? 10 o'clock Eastern time?
10 o'clock Eastern, yep.
10 o'clock Eastern. So make sure you get your picks in. Tomorrow's Golden Gate.
First day, opening day tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of big. Get your picks in, Terry.
It's right. You got no excuses. That's your home field there.
I did. I've already got my picks in.
And then there's a lot of big races tomorrow night, too, at Charlestown. So you want to make sure you get over to Horse Racing Radar. Take a look at our picks over there.
And Saratoga during the day has some decent racing. And if you really want to be adventuresome, there's some very good racing at the Curragh.
That will be in the morning, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
It means you have to get up.
Yes. And then on Saturday, we'll be at Saratoga for the contest, $100 to the winner. Terry and I will be there doing race-to-race analysis, horse-to-horse analysis, making our picks. And then on Sunday, I think it's at Monmouth Park again. I don't know why they love Monmouth Park, but it's another $50 I hate handicapping Monmouth Park.
They don't like whips. That's what I think is going on here.
That's what it is for sure. All right. Until we meet again next week or tomorrow with Tom or next Monday with Terry. Maybe Terry and I will finally figure out how to hit one of these 3P parlays. Till we meet again, everybody, good luck at the track. And certainly we hope to see you in the winner's circle.